humans have run into all kinds of weird creatures over the centuries. Dragons, dwarves, lake monsters, you name it. You think they're all fairy tales? Yeah, not exactly. Turns out, half of them were real. They just went extinct before anyone could post a selfie with one. Today, we're cracking open Mother Nature's black book, the one she filled with all her evolution experiments gone wrong. From rhinos with horns as tall as a man, to squids that treated giant fish like appetizers. And trust me, the deeper we go, the clearer it gets. Nature wasn't just creative, she was completely out of her mind. So buckle up, because this is The Strangest Creatures That Ever Existed, Explained the Easy Way and Slightly Terrifying. Unicorns, the symbol of magic, rainbows, and drinks with too much glitter. But a few thousand years ago, people in the Indus Valley carved a one-horned animal into stone tablets. Most folks called it a myth. Wrong. That magical horse was very real and a lot less adorable. Meet Elasmotherium sounds like a video game boss, right? It was the size of a truck, weighed several tons, and carried a horn taller than a grown man. Basically, a rhino that skipped leg day but never missed chest day. Picture this. You're picking berries, minding your own business, and a 9-foot rhino with a spear on its face starts charging at you. Yeah, not exactly storybook material. Scientists think humans and climate change finished it off. So yes, we met the unicorn. We just hunted it to extinction. They didn't vanish into the clouds. They vanished onto our dinner plates. Bottom line, unicorns weren't fantasy. They were real, cranky, and built like tanks. And all we have left are a few cave drawings and a guilty conscience. Yeti and Bigfoot? Everyone's heard of the Yeti, that big, hairy snow ghost from the Himalayas? Or his American cousin Bigfoot, who apparently enjoys long walks in the forest and avoiding cameras. But were these two actually real, or just nature's way of pranking conspiracy theorists? Back in 1951, climbers near Mount Everest found massive footprints in the snow. The world freaked out. We found the Yeti! Fast forward to 2017, scientists ran DNA tests. Result? Himalayan bear. So yeah, the Yeti was basically a well-marketed bear with better PR. Then came Bigfoot. In 1967, someone filmed a giant, hairy, two-legged figure walking through the woods. Half the world screamed, "Hoax!" Then, in 2022, experts reanalyzed the footage in 4 kelvins and realized the costume didn't match any material humans had back then. So, either that's a real creature, or we just discovered time-traveling fursuits. Here's where it gets wild. About 3.7 million years ago, Africa had Australopithecus, a short, upright hominid about 4 feet tall that sometimes ate meat. Kinda like Bigfoot's grandpa, just with less muscle and no fan club. So, next time you hear a twig snap in the woods, remember, it's either a Himalayan bear trying to look mysterious, or an ancient cousin wondering why humans trust TikTok more than fossils. The Loch Ness Monster. Every country's got a mascot. America's got the eagle. Japan's got dragons. And Scotland? They've got a monster no one's ever seen, but everyone's selling t-shirts of. For hundreds of years, locals around Loch Ness have sworn there's a massive creature lurking in the deep, long neck. Dinosaur body. Pure Jurassic chic. People say they've seen it. Some even took pictures. All of which, of course, look like a pool float having an identity crisis. Scientists have scanned the lake with sonar, drones, even underwater robots. The results? Fish, mud, and a whole lot of Scottish optimism. Most experts say Nessie's just a mix of hoaxes, fog, and wishful thinking. But if we rewind the clock 150 million years, things get weirdly logical. Back then, there was a creature with a giraffe-length neck and paddle-shaped flippers, the plesiosaurus. Not technically a dinosaur, but close enough to ruin your swim. A kind of prehistoric marine aristocrat that glided gracefully and turned anything smaller than itself into breakfast. If you went surfing back then, congratulations, you were the breakfast. Then came the extinction event. The plesiosaurus disappeared, but the legend didn't. Maybe someone once dug up a fossil near Loch Ness, added a little imagination, and boom, an entire tourism industry was born. So, yeah, the Loch Ness monster probably isn't still kicking, but it remains the only creature in evolution's history that managed to keep a whole country's economy afloat. And, hey, if you're still watching after finding out Nessie's just prehistoric PR, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. It helps fund our next bad idea, finding a fish the size of a school bus. Megalodon. You think the great white shark is the final boss of the ocean? Not even close. It's basically the wimpy grandkid of the creature that once made the entire Earth tremble. Megalodon. Around 23 million years ago, the seas were ruled by a monster shark nearly 60 feet long and weighing over 50 tons, about the size of 3 semi-trucks combined. And it wasn't just big, it was arrogant. The jaws of a megalodon could open wide enough to swallow a small car whole, no chewing required. Its bite force was estimated at over 40,000 pounds per square inch, 10 times that of a modern great white. In short, if you were a whale back then, every day felt like living next to a floating deadline. Its teeth were the size of a human hand, sharp as industrial saw blades, and nearly 7 inches long, enough to slice through a full-grown whale like birthday cake. Fossilized megalodon teeth have been found scattered across ocean floors, from Florida to Japan, and honestly, just looking at one makes you want to close your pool for the year. Its favorite meals? Ancient whales, sperm whales, and even other sharks. Megalodon was the kind of creature where every other animal was on the menu. The only question was whether you were the appetizer or the main course. But like every ruler, its reign eventually ended. As ocean temperatures cooled, whales, Megalodon's main protein source, migrated to colder waters its body couldn't handle. No food, no suitable climate, and slowly, the ocean's greatest predator disappeared around 3.6 million years ago. But does disappeared really mean extinct? That's where things get eerie. The youngest megalodon fossils were found in shallow geological layers, suggesting it might have simply gone deeper into the crushing dark, where pressure destroys everything except legends. Some oceanographers have even reported unexplained sonar readings at depths beyond 10,000 feet, massive moving shadows several times larger than the biggest great whites ever recorded. No one has confirmed it, but no one dares dive down to find out either. Because if something that size, with teeth like butcher knives, is still swimming somewhere under the Pacific, you definitely don't want to be the one to confirm it. Megalodon was the apex of sharks, the CEO of the ocean, the nightmare of every creature with lungs. And if it's still out there, lurking below the waves, then trust me, we're not the rulers of this planet. We're just tenants living on the lid of its fish tank. Titanoboa and Vasuki. Think modern snakes are scary enough? A few feet long, one slither and your heart drops to your stomach? Now imagine this. 60 million years ago, seeing a snake the size of a city bus wasn't a nightmare, it was just biology. Meet Titanoboa, a reptilian monster so enormous even crocodiles would call it Sir. It stretched nearly 50 feet long, weighed over a ton, and prowled the swamps of ancient South America. No venom needed. Titanoboa would simply wrap around you and squeeze until your bones cracked like a crushed soda can. Picture that happening underwater. Actually, no, don't. You'll never swim again. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Ancient India had its own legendary version, Vasuki indicus, a snake even longer, named after Vasuki, the great serpent god of Hindu mythology. And here's the twist this time: the myth was real. Fossils matched eerily well with ancient descriptions, leaving scientists to wonder, did early civilizations actually encounter these beasts? Or did their imaginations just come with built-in GPS? The most fascinating part is that Titanoboa only existed because Earth back then was a giant sauna, a steamy tropical planet perfect for reptiles aspiring to mythological size greatness. But when the world cooled down, those massive train-like serpents vanished from history. So next time you spot a garden snake about 4 feet long, just remember its ancestor once could have swallowed you, your chair, and your 50-inch TV in one bite. Dragons. If you think dragons only exist in Game of Thrones, bad news. Nature came up with that idea millions of years before HBO ever did. Its real name? Quetzalcoatlus. Yeah, sounds like an Aztec god because it was the inspiration for one. Picture a dragon as tall as a giraffe, weighing a few hundred pounds, with wings wider than a school bus. It didn't breathe fire, but it could still burn you. Psychologically, Quetzalcoatlus ruled the skies at the end of the Cretaceous. The weird part? It didn't flap like a bird. Instead, it vaulted off the ground on its massive wings and glided like a stealth bomber with a beak. And that beak? Long as a spear, perfect for plucking baby dinosaurs or anything dumb enough to stand nearby. Now imagine you're walking through a prehistoric plain, and you hear a whoosh above your head. You look up and there it is. A 3-story tall death kite cruising overhead like a pterodactyl running the Titan upgrade pack. You'd probably scream, "It's a dragon!" And it would probably respond by snatching you up like a claw machine prize. Of course, the ending wasn't so epic. 66 million years ago, when that asteroid punched the planet's lights out, Quetzalcoatlus and friends went down with it. But its legacy survived in hawks, eagles, and every bird that looks like it's plotting something. So yeah, dragons were real. They just didn't need to breathe fire. When you're 2 stories tall with a wingspan longer than a bus, you are the fire. Cthulhu. If you've ever read H.P. Lovecraft, you know Cthulhu, the giant tentacled nightmare from the deep that ruins sleep schedules. Sounds made up, right? Bad news again. It actually existed. Only back then, people called it something less poetic but equally horrifying: Tusoteuthis. Imagine a squid 40 feet long, that's 2 giraffes end to end, drifting silently through prehistoric oceans. It had an internal shell that made it faster and tougher than any squid today. It hunted giant fish, munched on baby marine reptiles, and basically served as the first armored tank with tentacles. Now, you get why ancient sailors told tales of sea monsters pulling ships under. They weren't lying, they were just remembering, deep in their DNA, a time when the ocean belonged to carnivorous calamari. Then came the same asteroid that vaporized the dinosaurs. And it took the real Cthulhu with it. But here's the creepy part. Humans have only explored 5% of the ocean. 5. Which means the other 95 could be hiding anything. From undiscovered giants to some sleepy descendant of Tusoteuthis yawning right below our research vessel. And if you think that's impossible, remember, we once laughed at the idea of giant white sharks, dinosaurs, or rhinos with 6-foot horns. All real. So the real question isn't if Cthulhu exists. It's whether it's still taking a nap or waiting for dinner. And there you have it. 7 mythical creatures that turned out to be anything but mythical. From the gym rat unicorn to the deep-sea squid tank, every fairy tale has roots in reality. Only the real versions were about 10 times more terrifying. If you've made it this far, After picturing Titanoboa hugging you or Quetzalcoatlus flying over your backyard, smash that like button. You've earned a medal for bravery against evolution's worst ideas. And don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we're diving into creatures even stranger. And this round, they're still alive.